You could nearly feel that you could move in tomorrow, and even though it's such a big house, it has that lovely feel. And people comment on that. People say that to me all the time. Even though it is a big house, it feels like a house that people lived in and loved in and worked in and enjoyed being here.
Russ Promo House, a Palladian mansion nestled in the Wicklow Hills outside Dublin. But inside this Irish house, a very English secret has been uncovered. And with it, the forgotten story of a dazzling aristocratic couple who were once the toast of London's high society. He was Sir Alfred Lane Beit, MP for St Pancras and globe-trotting heir to the De Beers mining fortune. She was Clementine Mitford, cousin of the famous sisters, a striking beauty who, while studying in Germany, came to the attention of the Führer himself. Alfred and Clementine married in 1939, the handsomest couple in London and one of the wealthiest. They were accustomed to moving in the highest circles amongst royalty, politicians, and movie stars. In 1952, the Beits fell in love with a Wicklow mansion, and Ireland became their home until they died, childless in their 90s. The untold story of these forgotten aristocrats died with them, and Russ Promo has been languishing. But now, a wonderful secret treasure trove has been found in the basement at Russ Promo, bringing their tale startlingly to life. "5,000 remarkable photographs, stereoscopic glass slides, and cans of 16mm film, providing a window into the lives of the rich and famous from 3 generations ago. Rex Harrison, Tallulah Bankhead, Cecil Beaton, and film of the very first Winter Olympics in 1924. For 78 years, Alfred Beit had photographed and filmed the privileged world in which he moved.
It's an incredible collection. We're looking at nearly 5,000 frames, which is just unbelievable. And not only do we have the colour content here, which is superb, but you've also got the glass plate. And the other I think the other incredible thing about the collection is how well it's documented, because if you look at the boxes, you've seen the index in each box, and you look at each of the glass slides and you see the comment is inscribed in the middle of the glass plate as to what, what the item is about. So you not only do you have pictures, but you've got them beautifully documented.
All of these are photograph albums, and we left one open for you, and this is the biggest one of all. This is a photograph album with ALB being Alfred Beit.
Fred Astaire.
You're joking.
Yeah, just there. And that's his daughter.
New Year 1977 at Russ Promo, Fred Astaire.
Isn't amazing?
I'd say you will find absolute treasures.
Fred Astaire's
If you had
daughter.
somebody who had time to go through them all.
He was Prime Minister. Where does it say that?
He has a beautiful way of capturing people's expressions. He seems to be quite good at taking that quick snap. Like this one here is a prime example.
Cassandra and Orna were quite obviously very enthralled with what they saw, and I suppose until that day I wasn't convinced that there was a potential treasure trove. I suppose increasingly I thought there might be a treasure trove of archive material, but having seen Cassandra and Orna's reaction to the photographs, the delicate way in which they handled them, and the expressions of interest and even wonderment at some points, that conveyed to me that indeed there is a very important archive of photographic and film records taken by Sir Alfred Byte.
Ivor Novello.
You're
Go
joking me. Ivor Novello.
It's an amazing record of one family's life, you know, an unusual family, a family, you know, in the upper echelons of Irish and British society. It's just an amazing record of their day-to-day life, you know, the nitty-gritty, how they socialised, how they lived, how they dressed. Personally, that's a fascinating element. The fashion and the glamour is amazing to see, and to have such a deep record from decades and decades is an amazing collection.
The Bytes had bought Rossborough primarily to house the objets d'art they had gathered across the globe, and one of the finest art collections in the world. Works by Goya, Velázquez, Gainsborough, and the only Vermeer in private hands. Paintings they later gifted, along with the house, to the Irish nation. But those artworks, so much a part of the house and the single thing that drew visitors from around the world, have long gone. Taken to the care of Ireland's National Gallery after successive high-profile robberies.
After the robbery, it was absolutely devastating to come into a room that was already lined with paintings and find all these blank patches everywhere on the wall. It was like as if they were our own personal paintings. We knew so much about them, and we'd guided them around, guided people from all over the world around to see these very important paintings. And all of a sudden, these blank patches, it's hard to even describe. As I say, it felt like a personal loss.
The porcelain is dated about 1930, and the design is the Little Fisherman. And Lady Byte was very fond of this set.
The collection of the Byte collection of paintings
The chairs are Hepburn.
were a major attraction for the
Over
public.
The chimney-piece is the
But
only
also they were an integral part of the building itself. And just to have bare walls, the house just doesn't look the same, apart from the value of the paintings or how important they were artistically.
It's like a lady going to a ball with no jewellery. That's the way I feel. The house just looks unfinished without anything on the walls.
Since those robberies 20 years ago, the estate has been closed to the media, its privacy guarded by a loyal and devoted staff.
Everyone helps out one another, and that's the sort of people what we need.
Stephanie, my daughter, works in the garden too. My sister Anne, my wife, works up in the cafe. It's kind of like a family affair.
They together founded the diamond mining industry. Then we have Clementine Churchill.
I'm passionate about the house.
That ceiling was made by Irish plasterworkers.
It's, you'll have to majorly cut this one.
I see the marks always. The first thing you see are the marks of the alarm system.
That's an extraordinary one we haven't seen before. There is, believe it or not, a cinema in here. There's hopefully over the next months and years ahead a change in the perception that people have of Russborough. It's a pair of legs. Oh yeah.
Eric Blatchford has been given 2 years to improve Russborough's ailing fortunes and secure a future for the house and the Bytes' devoted staff.
They have to get more people in. They have to improve the place, like, just look around. Do I have to explain?
I'm asking it for an image format, and there's quite a number of different formats. I can have a TIFF, a bitmap.
It now seems that the Bytes' very private archive may very publicly be the saviour of the stately home they loved. We have recorded the only footage of its discovery. The full extent and significance of the images is yet to be examined, but they're destined to play a key part in restoring the fortunes of Russborough. This series delves into a unique social history and opens up the life and times of a lost aristocratic couple who rank amongst the greatest British art collectors and philanthropists.